to Learning Management Systems. I'm John Crowell, and I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about learning management systems today. First of all, we need to talk about what a learning management system is. Hobbes states that a learning management system, or LMS, automates many of the processes associated with learning. It is a management software package enabling the delivery of learning content, resources, and activities, and also handles the associated administrative tasks. Now, there are many softwares out there that are LMS, but we will focus today on Moodle, Edmodo, and the Google Classroom. Some general features of LMS, which Mahoney talked about, were there are general course organization. That means that the information that you are going to teach is located at one site, so all the course content would be involved. It also allows for students to collaborate and to talk with each other and also with the instructor. And of course, of all features of e-learning, it allows for self-studying. The first software that we will look at today is a free and open source LMS known as Moodle. This is one of the more common systems out there, and especially in the high school. I know our school has been using it for about 4 years now. It has been used since 2002. It is based on modules, that's where the name Moodle comes from, that can be turned on and off when needed. Some of the pros with Moodles is that it is free. The content that you use within the Moodle site can be used again for other sections of the same class, or even for other years. Your assignments, tests and assessments, and quizzes are centralized in one place, so the students know where to log in and they know how to find the quiz whenever you direct them to it. And because it's been around for such a long time, there are a lot of users around, especially in the discussion boards areas where you can find out information about Moodle. Even though Moodle is free, there are some cons that are associated with that. The resources to run Moodle is very, very costly. It takes server space, and it takes at least one individual at the district to be able to run the server and the necessary behind-the-scene workings of Moodle. There's no centralized help or documentation. Everything that you need to know about Moodle, you have to go out and look for it on your own. The appearance or the makeup of Moodle is very, very basic whenever you look at it on a website. It looks like it's about circa Windows XP era, and some students are put off by the simplicity of its design. Setup and learning by the teacher is very, very time consuming. Recommendation that I've heard in the past is you would want to set your courses up 2 semesters in advance to going live with them. Another LMS that is common is Edmodo. Edmodo is an LMS that is designed with social networking in mind. It is a web-based application, so that means that you have access to it at any time that you have an internet connection available. You have what we call posts, and these posts look pretty similar to a Facebook post. And inside of there could be a post that talks about an assignment that you would like students to do, and they would have a link to that assignment. You can have tests that are in the post. You can even have charts or graphs. Because it is a social networking style LMS, it encourages the communication between students and teachers. Some of the pros of Edmodo: it allows for cross-platform use. That means that you can use it on a computer, you can use it on your tablet devices, or even various phone devices with Android or iOS. It is easy to conduct formative assessment. You have polls, and you can have questions and quizzes within your post. Your posts are easily monitored by teachers and administrators. That way you can stop any kind of bullying or any off-topic posts as they happen. And a good thing about Edmodo is that it does allow for parents to be able to have accounts so that they can go on and see what is happening inside of your classroom. Some cons or disadvantages with the Edmodo is because it is a social networking style LMS. It's easy for students to forget that they're there for school and become very chatty, especially about topics outside of school. For your younger students, it's hard for them to remember their special username and password. Every time that they want to get into the site, they have to do this login. And whenever you're trying to log in with a device such as an iPad, this can be a very, very tedious experience, especially for the younger students. And like Facebook, if you're trying to find something that you post a while back, say somebody was absent or missed an assignment, tends to get things lost because of all the looking and searching that you have to do for that. The last LMS we will talk about today is Google Classroom. Although we are calling it an LMS, in the traditional sense of the definition, it really does not fit all the criteria for a true LMS. In other words, it doesn't have all of the features that most LMS will have. It is really a web-based workflow platform. In other words, it's used for pushing out assignments, information out to students, and for them to also give you, the instructor, that information or assignments back. It was released in the summer of 2014, so it really has only had 1 year of service among teachers. It is evolving even as we use it today. It is part of the Google Apps for Education and is integrated with many of the Google products, such as Google Drive, Google Documents, and so on. There are many pros in using the Google Classroom. It can be accessed from almost any online device. It can be a computer, it can be a phone. There is an app for both the iPhone and your Android, and also your various tablets. The classroom is very simple to set up and to use and to put down posts for students to use as well. It does allow access and stores to your Google Drive, and it also allows you to use the Google Docs suite. The classroom is free for all districts to use as long as they have Google Apps for Education as their email setup. There are some cons for using Classroom. Because it is not a full LMS, there are limited features. You're not able to, like I said earlier, to give online tests or quizzes where they grade automatically unless you're using a link to Google Forms. Some of your communication between the students aren't available like you do have in some of the other LMS. There are limits to it. Either you would have to have another app open, such as Google Hangouts, or you would have to be chatting within your Google Doc itself. It is also very limiting on who is allowed to have access to it. If you are outside of the school domain, there really can be some issues there. Either you would have to be on a whitelist that the admin can add you to, or you would have to have a account set up for you through the school itself. This brings us to our last point, which is things to consider. Trivantis, which is a host for servers that actually store LMS for different schools and institutions, says there are different things that we have to really look into before picking an LMS. One thing was to look at your teaching style and your philosophy. Many of the LMS are geared toward a certain philosophy, and you want to make sure yours matches the LMS system you're interested in buying. Also, just because something is free initially doesn't mean that it's free forever, especially when you have to look into your software that you have to upkeep, when you look at the different computers or the servers you have to rent. That can become very costly, so you have to look at your budget and the resources you have available. You also have to look at the training. Training costs money as well. And also you have to have personnel that are available to go to the training to make sure that you can implement your LMS. And also you have to look at your content. Does your content fit the LMS that you are looking at buying? When you look into all of these, then you should be able to pick which LMS you would be wanting to purchase for your institution. Thank you for watching my presentation on LMS. These are the references that I use throughout my presentation. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can contact me at my Gmail account, which is godogs, GODOGZ, @gmail.com. Thank you again.